Namaste everybody. Thank you for joining me in this yoga practice where we're going to be focusing on lymphatic flow in the body. So the lymph is the watery fluid that runs and circulates through the body, picks up any viruses, bacteria, and then filters out of the lymph nodes. So in this practice, we're going to be focusing on inversions and bringing in the asanas that brings our head below our heart. For those who suffer from high blood pressure or who has got some serious eye conditions, I would really recommend to consult your doctor before start practicing the inversions. So for those who don't know me, my name is Irina. I am a certified yoga instructor, and in this channel I share yoga practices that are around 25 to 30 minutes, so quite short. And I hope that you'll find the videos that will resonate with you and that will help you on your yoga journey and help you to improve your mental and physical well-being. In this pose, I'm elevating my pelvis by using the block underneath the sacrum, or I'm sitting with my sit bones. So it elevates the pelvis, the knees can drop, and I can bring my back into the upright position, but without too much strain. Hands are resting on the knees. The gaze is closed. And start noticing the flow of the breath within the body. Those sensations in the back of the throat, perhaps the chest, or could be the belly. Your inhalation and exhalations are prolonged. We start deepening each inhale and each exhale, but without putting too much strain. Very gently start introducing the movement into the neck. And here, feel free to either circle, or maybe you want to just bring one ear close to the shoulders at a time. So whatever feels natural for you this morning. What does the body tell you? What movement would you like to take? Maybe gently bringing the movement into the shoulders. You can still move your neck if you wish, or you can bring your head back into the center and making the circular movements. Outside rotation, inside rotation. Maybe you want to have not synchronized but desynchronized movement of each of the shoulder. Feel how the chest moves. Maybe that movement goes into your side of the body, into the waist. And then gently bring yourself slightly forward, bringing probably the forehead on the floor. And having a few breaths here. From here, peeling the forehead off the floor, plant your hands. Let's tug the toes. And then bring your feet quite wide, so you are in Prasarita Padottanasana. We're still warming up through the body. So bringing the soft, gentle movements and start building that warmth and the heat. And from here, you may notice that you need to use bricks and the blocks to support you, because I'd like you to hinge from the hips and trying to avoid rounding through the back. Maybe bringing the chest closer to the thighs. Perhaps your hands and will drop. Maybe for some of you, you want to use one of the blocks and position your crown of the head or the top of the head onto the block, and ensuring that your neck could be relaxed, that your throat could be relaxed, so the lymph can flow freely here. Breathing into the groin, making sure that you're soft through the knees. Inhale, halfway left. Let's rotate towards the left side of the body. So you're going to be walking towards the left, simultaneously bringing your foot in and position your right foot 45 degrees in. Inhale, we're going to do the halfway lift, lengthen through the chest, lengthen through the spine. And on the exhale, maybe bringing the chin closer to the knee, to your left knee. Few breaths here. The front knee could be bent, and the degree of the bend really depends on you here. If your hamstrings are too tight, trying not to lock through the knee, keep it soft. Inhale, halfway left, and then walk towards the right side. Simultaneously, you're rotating your foot, both of the feet towards the right, and you may need to adjust the stand here. Squaring your hips, inhale, halfway lengthen, and exhale, maybe again exploring the space between your chest and the thigh, maybe closing that gap. Remember to soften through the neck, because we want to have the heart here, the head below the heart. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Down dog. Making sure that you are spreading your fingers, pressing the mat away. Let's drop the knees to the floor. Inhale, let's arch, look up. Exhale, let's round through the back. So bringing that dynamic cat-cow into the practice. Notice the movement, the flow of the body. Notice the position of the space in the body. Rounding through the back, looking at the navel. And on your next inhale, you want to bring the shoulder blades together. You're going to stretch to the throat. Maybe look up if that's not constricting your, not bringing the very uncomfortable, painful sensation in the neck. And exhale around and trying to look at the navel. Back into the neutral. Bring the knees off the floor. Down dog. And drop the knees to the floor, drop the elbows to the floor, interlace the fingers, press into the forearms and lift the knees off the floor into the dolphin pose. So trying to press with the forearms into the floor.
trying to encourage opening through the chest. Again, quite careful. This is quite there is quite a lot going on in the upper body, especially that we are building here the strength in the upper body, opening through the shoulders. So if you're finding that maybe 5 breaths is too long, starting from 2 and then gradually increasing the duration of the pose. Drop the knees to the floor, plant your hands, lift, transition into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bend the knees, look forward, step, walk or jump. Very gently, softly inhale halfway. Exhale, fold and hug your elbows here. Allow the body, the upper body to melt forward, relaxing through your neck, making sure that your head is heavy. And you can bring a very gentle movements, swinging maybe to the side if you wish, or perhaps you want to just stay still in this ragdoll position. Being careful, especially if you suffer from any back pain or sciatica. So just making sure that when you're rounding through the back, you're not going past the breaking point, past the edge, that safe edge of your practice. Release your hands to the floor. Inhale, halfway left. Exhale, fold. We're going to separate the feet with hip apart. If at that point it's too much for the hip flexion for you, maybe you need to come out, shake it off, and then come back into this asana. But we're placing this time the hands under the feet, and your feet are with hip apart. Padahastasana, and trying maybe to close again the gap between the belly and the thighs. Navel drawn in. Remember, we're not holding the breath in the asanas, but we are holding the locks or bandhas, and it means that I'm squeezing here my perineum, and the belly is slightly contracted, so I'm creating the vacuum in the belly, and I'm allowing the neck to be soft, and I keep breathing. Release the hands. Inhale, halfway left. Plant your hands, step into Adho Mukha Svanasana, and staying here for 5 deep, long breaths. Bringing perhaps that Ujjayi breath by restricting the back of the throat, lengthening through the spine, so trying to open up, feeling that stretch in the hamstrings, feeling the sensation in your upper arms, the shoulders. 2 more breaths. And on the next exhale, drop the knees, bring the shins to the side, transition into the seated position. And from here, we're going to go into our inversions. And there will be 3 asanas that all fuse together. So before we start with that, if you're absolute novice in yoga and you haven't done any inversions before, I would recommend you to start very gently and easy in a safe way to practice it. And could be your inversion to begin with, where you're positioning your back on the floor. You're going to lift the sacrum, and depending how far you want to lift the pelvis, you're positioning either 1 or 2 bricks underneath the sacrum. Okay, at this point the shoulders are still pressing into the mat because I want that pressure, and then maybe lifting, starting here, or maybe staying here for 10 to 15 breaths. And this is where you get access to that lymphatic system. So we are reversing, so we are bringing the heart above the head this time. And we want the gravity to drain the lymphatics, so assisting the drainage of the lymphatic system, but also accessing that parasympathetic nervous system. So staying here for the beginners in the safe version. And this is also alternative to the legs up the wall if you don't have the wall. You can do exactly the same, but have a wall and rest your legs onto the wall. For those who wants to go into the fused 3 asana inversions, starting with halasana, the plow pose. So I'm bringing my feet above the head, and the feet, if the feet land on the floor, then I can start wiggle the shoulders. If they haven't landed, support your back with your hands. Plow pose. At this point, if the feet are supported, you may feel quite safe to release, let go of your back, and bring the hands down or to the edges of the mat. Just notice that there shouldn't be any compression on the neck. So I'm supported by the shoulders and by the head. And from here, you can place your hands on the back and start gently straightening your legs up, so coming into the shoulder stand. Again, if you need to wiggle, just to ensure that the weight of the body is supported by the shoulders. I'm not turning my head here, and that's important. Not to start looking around you. Your feet could be just really soft and relaxed. So we're not pointing, could be middle way between the flexion and extension of the ankles. And from here, if you wish to come into Karnapidasana, so you're bringing your knees towards the forehead, you can again release, if that is safe to do, release your hands to the floor. Maybe you can open up and bring the knees closer to the ears. And gently let's unravel the spine. Bring your hands down. Press into your arms, and then supporting yourself, engaging the solar plexus and coming onto the floor. So straight away, let's get into the fish pose. So placing your hands under the body. So you're fully supported by your arms, and then flexing the elbows, lifting the chest. And if there is no restrictions, you can arch and through the neck and really stretch the throat here. And gently coming out of Matsyasana, removing your arms away from the body, and perhaps bringing your knees towards the chest, rolling into the ball, and maybe rocking from side to side. And if you want to add a bit of a twist, so bringing the arms to the floor, opening through the chest, bending the elbows, and let's drop the knees towards the right and look over the left shoulder. You can use the block if you want to position it underneath the knees if you're finding that the knees are quite far away from the floor and you're starting to feel a pulling, very strong sensation in your waist. We do want to have the sensations, but it's probably kind of dull sensation rather than acute electric-like pain, because that could be an indication that you're practicing in an unsafe way. Bringing the knees back into the center and then dropping to the other side. Again, using something to support if you wish, and allowing the legs to just drop to any point in space. Bringing the knees into the center. Very gently, very slowly rock forward. Maybe cross your legs. If you need to use the block, elevate the pelvis. Position the hands on the knees. Just taking a few time to reflect on the state of the mind. Reflect on the state of the body. Gently open the eyes. And from here you can go into meditative state and practice your meditation. Or you can get into Shavasana and have a 5 to 10 minute relaxation pose. It could be guided, it could be self-guided, or you could use that practice as your individual practice for the day. Thank you for sharing this yoga practice with me. Thank you for your energy, and I hope to see you more on this channel. Namaste.